Hi guys, it's me back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing my Premier League predictions for the 22-23 season. So we've got all the clubs at the bottom here, and the different tiers we have are who I think are going to be the Premier League champions, the teams in Champions League spots, in Europa League and Europa Conference spots, mid-table, relegation battle, and relegation. So we're going to start from relegation and build our way up to who I think are going to be the champions of this Premier League season. So the first team that's going to go in relegation is Bournemouth. Their signings, it's just not that inspiring, really. They've brought in Joe Rothwell on a free from Blackburn and Ryan Fredericks on a free from West Ham. Those are two bland signings who are most likely just going to be squad depth. Fredericks might start. The big signing for Bournemouth is bringing in Marcus Tavernier from Middlesbrough, who impressed for them last season. The step up to the Premier League, though, he's going to have a lot of pressure on his shoulders to perform. Coming in for, I believe, £12.5 million. Even with Tavernier, this is still a championship squad for Bournemouth, and I do like having Bournemouth back in the Prem, but it's going to be relegation for me for them. It also depends on whether Dominic Solanke can provide goals in the Premier League, which he hasn't done in previous years. Obviously bad 20-odd goals in the Championship. Can he replicate that in the Premier League? If he can, I think Bournemouth have a chance of staying up. The next team I think is going to be in the relegation zone, it's got to be Fulham for me. Fulham, if they stay up or not, is all down on it. It's really on Mitrovic's shoulders, scoring 43 goals, I believe, in the Championship last season. Can he try and replicate that a bit? Because the most he's ever got in the Premier League in one season was 10, and they got relegated. But I think he's a very different player from then. If Mitrovic can provide goals, and they've made some decent signings as well, and if they can all perform, Fulham have got a chance. But I'm going to put them going down, because that is the safest bet. Some of the signings Fulham have made, they brought in Bernd Leno for $8 million from Arsenal, which is a proven Premier League goalkeeper. This is a good move. Also bringing in João Palhinha from Sporting Lisbon for $20 million, who seems to be a promising midfielder. We have to see if he can perform in a different league. And Andreas Pereira from Manchester United for a fee of $10 million. Previously in the Premier League, when he played for United a few seasons ago, Pereira, he was alright. He wasn't fantastic. And finally, the other major signing Fulham have made is bringing in Kevin Mbabu from Wolfsburg for $6.5 million. A dominating right back who I feel like would be suited to the Premier League. If all of those signings can perform and Mitrovic can bag 15 goals, Fulham will save themselves from relegation. But I don't think that's going to happen. Now, just looking at the rest of the teams here, the final team I think are going to get relegated is Southampton. In recent years, in the past 5 years, Southampton have been battling relegation pretty much. Pretty much all that they've been doing is battling relegation for the past 5 years. They haven't done anything of note. They always have a spell for like a month or two where they're doing fantastic, getting close to that top 10, and then it just completely collapses and they finish like 15th. But Southampton, they've been in the Premier League for 6-7 years now. I think it's time to go for Southampton. You can't keep on having poor finishes and staying in this league unless you've got a proper, stable, quality squad, which I don't think Southampton have. They've brought in some signings. Joe Aribo from Rangers for 10 million. Seems like a good deal. Obviously, he's not Premier League proven, but we'll have to see how he'll do. Romeo Lavia for 12 million from Man City. He's just a little youth player. I don't know if he's going to play for Southampton. It may be Aribo and Ward-Prowse in that Southampton midfield going into next season. Also signing Gavin Bazunu for Man City and Armel Bella-Kotchap from VfL Bochum. Bazunu seems like a decent keeper. Don't know if he's Premier League ready yet. And Kotchap seems like a promising young centre-back. Losing Fraser Forster as he's gone to Tottenham on a free. It's a loss for them. It is a loss for them. But I just think Southampton's time in the Premier League is up. And so those are my 3 teams going down. 20th, I'm happy with the order actually. I didn't really order them, but 20th will go with Bournemouth, 19th Fulham, 18th Southampton. Into the relegation battle section now. The first team I'm going to put instantly in there is Brentford. They have lost Christian Eriksen, which the second half of last season when he was there gave them a real boost, giving them survival in the Premier League. Without him, they're going to struggle. It looks like they're going to keep hold of Ivan Toney, which is massive for them, as he is their main goal scorer. They've brought in some decent players. The likes of Thomas Skratosha and Ben Mee on free transfers seem like some tidy deals. Keane Lewis-Potter coming in for 20 million from Hull seems like a good deal, but obviously untested in the Premier League. And Aaron Hickey from Bologna for 18 million seems like another fantastic deal who will challenge Rico Henry's left-back spot. So, Brentford have done good business. Obviously, losing Eriksen is a massive one. But I have to see what happens. But I think Brentford are going to be one of the teams in this relegation battle zone. The next team that I think is going to be in there is definitely Everton. Everton, have they done much in this transfer window? I've got like Sky Sports, like all the transfers up. So Everton, they brought in James Tarkowski on a free from Burnley, which is a good Premier League proven centre back. Ruben Vinagre on loan from Sporting Lisbon. He's been in the Premier League before. He wasn't great, so that's not a great transfer. And also Mike McNeil from Burnley. Sky Sports says undisclosed, but I think it was a fee of around 20 million. But he hasn't been great, Dwight McNeil, in recent seasons. Like, he's a good prospect, but like Anthony Gordon's done more than him last season than Dwight McNeil's done the last 3. So it does seem like a bit of a pointless transfer, if I'm honest. In terms of outgoings for Everton, they've lost Richarlison to Tottenham for 60 million. Obviously, they're getting loads of money, but he was a really key player for them in their survival hopes last season and eventual survival in the Premier League. So I think Everton are going to be in another relegation battle. We'll have to see how Frank Lampard does in his first full season as Everton coach. But yeah, and this relegation battle zone is very difficult. I'm not sure who's going to go in here. I'm thinking Leeds. We're going to put Leeds in this relegation battle zone. Terms of transfers, they've done a lot. Bringing in Tyler Adams from RB Leipzig, Brendan Aronson from RB Salzburg, Ramos Christensen from RB Salzburg, Mark Rocker from Bayern Munich, Luis Sinistera from Feyenoord, for fees combined together of nearly 100 million, which is good business, but I don't know if that business mitigates the loss of Rafinha and Calvin Phillips. Without them two, I think they're going to struggle. Rafinha was the man who kept them up last year. Obviously, they replaced him with the likes of Sinistera, but these are two very different quality players. Rafinha is Premier League proven, just got his big move to Barcelona for 55 million. And Sinistera, coming in from Feyenoord, we don't know how he's going to do. So there's a certain amount of uncertainty with Leeds. They brought in some good names, but I think relegation battles where they're going to be, but top of relegation battles. So we need two more clubs to go in this relegation battle zone. And I don't know who it's going to be. I'm thinking a Wolves, actually. So back in the last season, Wolves really fell off. Their form was atrocious. Up until about February, they were pushing for those European spots, and then just completely collapsed. I think they finished 8th. So, Wolves, business-wise, they brought in Nathan Collins from Burnley, 20 million, which is a fantastic transfer. And also Hwang Hee-chan from RB Leipzig on a permanent, who did well for them last season. But there's not guaranteed goals at Wolves, because after Raul Jimenez came back from that awful head injury, he's not really been the same player. So if Hwang Hee-chan can provide some goals, I think Wolves are going to be fine. But because they have got quality, it's just who's going to get. You need a few players who can guarantee you goals. I think Hwang Hee-chan he'll probably get single digits goals and nearly double digits. Jimenez will have to see. He can maybe get 5 goals. They're going to have to look for goals from other areas in the midfield and the defence. So I think we need one more team for this relegation battle zone, and then we'll order the teams in that zone on how I think they'll finish. I think it has to be. I think I'm going to go Crystal Palace. Obviously, managed by Patrick Vieira right now. He's done a good job in trying to change the style of football at Crystal Palace, rather than just hoping for survival with Roy Hodgson. They've done a few transfers, bringing in Sam Johnson on a free, who will challenge Gaeta's #1 spot in goal, and bringing in Cheikh Doucouré from Lens for 20 million as a midfielder. It looks like a good move. So, other than those two transfers, I think Cheikh Doucouré will start, and Johnston and Gaeta are going to battle out for the #1 spot. Also bringing in the highly rated youngster Malcolm Eboyewi from Derby. He seems like a hell of a player. We'll have to see if he can do anything this season, but they do have a lot of competition in those attacking areas with the likes of Zaha, Eze, Elise, and others. So Crystal Palace, their window's not been fantastic, but I think Patrick Vieira will guide them to save them from relegation. So, we've got to order the teams in the relegation battle. Honestly, I think Everton go above Brentford. I think Palace goes above Brentford as well. So we're going to put Brentford in 17th, just surviving. If Ivan Toney can get another 10 goals, they'll be fine. 16th, Crystal Palace. 15th, Everton. 14th, Leeds. And 13th for Wolves. Now into the mid-table section. These are teams who get close to European football, but don't quite get there. And the first team that's going in there, it's got to be Brighton. If we have a little scroll up and look at their business, they brought in some randomos. I don't know. I can't tell you anything about Brighton's transfers, really. Julio Incinzo coming in for 9.5 million for some South American club. I don't know who he is. So, outgoings for Brighton, Yves Bissouma, the Tottenham. That will leave a hole in the midfield, definitely. But I think Brighton will be fine. And also they've got what's it? Dennis Undav coming back, and he did fantastic in the Belgium league last season. So top goal scorer in the Belgium league and got like 15 assists. So if he can perform, they may Brighton may have a proper strike on him. Because for Brighton to progress, they just need a proper striker, and I think Undav can do that. Because Maupay, he's a decent player, but he's a bit inconsistent. So I think Brighton are definitely in that mid-table zone. Anyone else that goes in that mid-table zone, it's got to be Aston Villa. I'm predicting a slight improvement in position for Villa. They've had a fantastic transfer window. Bringing in Diego Carlos for 26 million. He is a quality centre-back from Sevilla. Making the Coutinho deal permanent for 17 million is also another tiny move. And if you told Villa fans 4 years ago, when they were in the Championship, and Coutinho was going to Barcelona for 120 million, and you would tell them in a few years that they would have Coutinho, they wouldn't have believed you. They would have just laughed at you. But that is the position that I think Aston Villa are in now. That they can make these moves with Steven Gerrard as the manager. They want to show progression. I don't think they're going to be in the European places this season, but they're going to progress from a 14th place finish last season. Boubacar Kamara on a free from Marseille is one of the most wanted midfielders this summer. I think United were linked with him, but he did go to Villa in the end, which I think will be one of the best free transfers of this window. Also bringing in Ludwig Augustine. Yep. Will provide competition for Digne, and if he gets injured, he's a solid backup. Outgoings for Villa, obviously losing Matt Targett for 15 million, going to Newcastle. I think that's fair enough. If he wants to get the money, because he was replaced by Digne, you would think that's a good move, getting some money, and obviously replacing him with Augustine, who is a loan. But yeah, so I think Aston Villa are going to be high end of mid-table. Who else do I think is going to be in this mid-table zone? For me, Nottingham Forest. It feels like they've signed the whole world. If I just scroll to their transfers quickly, I've got like the transfers up on like a different device, by the way. So that's how. Nottingham Forest have brought in so many players. Some of them I've never heard of, and for big money as well. Taiwo Awanini, yeah, coming in from Union Berlin for 70.5 million. Looks like someone who can bag the goals. They've also bolstered their defence with the likes of Omar Richards, Nico Williams, Niakate, Dean Henderson. And they've also brought a bit of attacking flair with the likes of Jesse Lingard on a free. It's a fantastic window for Nottingham Forest, and I think they will comfortably stay up. Outgoings, they've let Bryce Samba leave, who was their main goalkeeper and helping them get to the Premier League. but he didn't want to play second fiddle to Dean Henderson, so it's a good reason to leave. We need another team in this mid-table zone, and it's got to be Leicester for me. As well as I don't think they've done much business. Leicester, they've brought in absolutely nobody, which isn't helpful. But they've still got a strong enough squad, and there's still a few weeks after the transfer window that I think Leicester will comfortably be in mid-table. And the final team that I'm going to put in the mid-table bracket. So we've got Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Liverpool, Newcastle, Tottenham, Man United and West Ham. I put this team in the thumbnail, who I think are going to finish in 8th and massively underperform, is Manchester United. As well as transfer-wise, they've been chasing Frankie de Jong the whole window, and he looks like he's not going to come. But the transfers they have got over the line are Tyrell Malacia, a left-back from Feyenoord for 14 million. Seems like a good move. Competition for Luke Shaw and Tellez. Lisandro Martinez for over 50 million is a fantastic move. Bringing in a young, exciting centre-back who will hopefully be a legend at Man United, and also bringing in Christian Eriksen on a free will add some more creative flair into that United midfield. Outgoings, they've lost the likes of Mata, Lingard, Matic, Cavani, Pogba, Dean Henderson going out on loan, Andres Pereira as well. They've lost a lot of the older guys. But I think Ten Hag wants to build a younger team. So, losing so many names there, 5, 6 quality players, I think they're just going to struggle. And the rest of the league is getting stronger around them. So I think Manchester United are going to finish outside of the European places. And as for 6th and 7th, it's Newcastle and West Ham. 7th, I'm going to go with West Ham. And 6th, I'm going to go with Newcastle. West Ham's business. Let's just get this up. They've done some decent little moves. Bringing in the likes of Neef Aguerd from Rennes for 30 million is a good centre-back. Making the Areola loan permanent is also good goalkeeping competition for Fabianski. And bringing in Flynn Downs from Swansea, and a young English midfielder. He looks like he will be the next big thing, and hopefully the future Mark Noble. West Ham haven't really lost that many important players in this window. Yarmolenko and Ryan Fredericks both leaving. Both squad players who their loss won't really be affected. They won't really feel the loss. In 6th place, I've gone for Newcastle, who in this transfer window have spent big again, but they've made some good signings. Nick Pope from Burnley for 10 million. He will either be the starting goalkeeper or fighting to be the starting goalkeeper with Martin Dubravka. Also bringing in Matt Targett for 15 million is a good move, considering he did well on loan last season. Is one for the future, not one for the future. Matt Targett's like 28, but it's a good signing. And also Sven Botman for 35 million, a young Dutch centre-back who was wanted by some of the biggest clubs in the world, and he's chosen to come to Newcastle. It's a good window for Newcastle, bringing in 3 good defensive players. And with an already strong squad, with the likes of Bruno Guimaraes, Alan Saint-Maximin, I can see Newcastle getting in the European places. there's a few more weeks left in the transfer window, so if Newcastle really want to progress, they're going to need to get another striker, because Callum Wilson, he is a quality player. He can get you 10, 15 goals, but he is very injury prone, and Chris Wood is not it. And they've been after half the Premier League, or just half the world, just looking for a striker. They've been after the likes of Hugo Ekitike, who went to PSG, and Armando Broja, who looks to be staying at Chelsea or maybe going to West Ham. So, the one piece in Newcastle's puzzle that's left is that they need another striker. If Callum Wilson gets injured, attacking wise, they're pretty screwed with Chris Wood. The final team, so we've got the last 5 teams here: Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool and Spurs. 4 of them I think are going to get Champions League spots. But who do I think's not? Personally, I think Chelsea are going to miss out on the Champions League this time. Chelsea have done good business, but their defence still looks a bit light on men there. Losing the likes of Andreas Christensen, Antonio Rudiger, 2 quality centre-backs to Barcelona and Real Madrid doesn't help them defensively. They have brought in Koulibaly, who is a quality centre-back, better than Rudiger and Christensen, but they could still do with another centre-back, or maybe 2 more centre-backs. Because centre-backs wise, Chelsea, they've got Koulibaly, brand new signing, quality player. Thiago Silva is fantastic for his age at 37, but he can't play every game in the Premier League. And they've also got the likes of Trevor Chalobah, who is going to have to play a lot. He's going to play a lot of minutes. Because when you get past Koulibaly and Thiago Silva, you've got Chalobah and Azpilicueta, who they're good, but they're not really good. So you got Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. They will be the 2 main centre backs, but depth wise, apart from them, there's not much there. Also bringing in Raheem Sterling from Man City, who will be a great attacking option for just under 50 million. He will get you the goals. We know Raheem Sterling. He will get you the goals. But I just don't think they've got enough to get into the Champions League spots. So, in 4th place, the weakest of all these teams, the weakest of Man City, Liverpool, the weakest of who I think is going to get in the top 4 is Arsenal. But I do think they are going to get top 4 for the first time in about 6 years. And they've done some fantastic business, Arsenal. Bringing in Gabriel Jesus for 45 million from Manchester City is a top quality striker who I think can propel them into the top 4. Alongside that, they've brought in Alexander Zinchenko, also from Man City, for just over 30 million. It's a fantastic move. He can play his main position is left back. He plays in the midfield for his country, and I'm sure he could do a job at right back as well. So Tierney and Tomiyasu, they get their fair few injuries. So Zinchenko can be great cover for the left or right side, and he can play in the midfield. Arteta's got a proper quality versatility player there, and it's a fantastic signing for just over 30 million. Also bringing in Fabio Vieira to try and bolster up their midfield a bit. I just switched the 2 columns around. I got a bit scared. Fabio Vieira from Porto for 34 million. We don't know how he's going to be. It's more depth in that midfield, and Arsenal fans, they're going to take it. They've lost the likes of Lacazette, Guendouzi, Leno, Tavares going out on loan as well. But I think they'll be fine. There will be... This is going to be a quality season for Arsenal. Jesus will bag 15-20 goals, and that'll propel them into the top 4. Now, in third place, I'm going to go with Tottenham. They've had a very good win, though. I can't deny that. Bringing in Richarlison for 60 million, who just gives more attacking options for if a Kane, a Son gets injured, he can play there. He can play in that attack. We don't know how they're going to line up going into the season, Tottenham, attacking wise. And they've also really bolstered their defence as well, with the likes of Ivan Perisic, Lenglet, Jed Spence, Fraser Forster is a good backup for Lloris. And then also Yves Bissouma for 35 million helps out in the midfield. With Bissouma, I think Tottenham's midfield is right up there with the best in the league. You've got Bissouma, Højbjerg, Bentancur. It's looking good. So it's a very successful transfer window for Tottenham, bringing in these kind of players. And they've lost Steven Bergwijn for 25 million going to Ajax, which is not going to be that bad, and it gives them a bit more money as they've spent so much. Now the top 2. So yeah, I think Tottenham going to finish in third. The top 2, we've got Liverpool and Man City. Just got to drag them up here. Who do I think is going to win the league next season? Manchester City brought in the likes of Haaland, Phillips, Alvarez. Some fantastic moves. And Liverpool have done the same, bringing in Carvalho, Nunez. Just great moves. But I do think Liverpool's midfield is still a bit light there, with the likes of Thiago, Henderson, Fabinho, the wrong side of 30, and Keita and also Chamberlain, very injury prone. I think Liverpool's midfield is going to be looking very light. Also, Liverpool also lost Sadio Mane to Bayern Munich for 35 million. We'll see if Nunez can kind of replace the goals he provided, but we'll have to wait and see. So, who I think is going to win the league is Man City. It's just a depth. They won the league last season without a proper striker, and they've just brought in Haaland, who's going to give you like 20 goals minimum. So this is my Premier League predictions. We'll go from the bottom to the top. In 20th, I've gone with Bournemouth. 19th, Fulham. 18th, Southampton. 17th, Brentford. 16th, Palace. 15th, Everton. 14th, Leeds. 13th, Wolves. 12th for Forest. 11th, Brighton. 10th, Leicester. 9th, Aston Villa. 8th, Manchester United. 7th, West Ham. 6th, Newcastle. 5th, Chelsea. 4th, I've gone for Arsenal. 3rd, Tottenham. 2nd, Liverpool. And 1st, Man City. So those are my Premier League predictions. I will be dropping more videos soon. I hope you guys did enjoy. And bye, guys.